Hey guys, today I'm going to walk you through how to get your Shopify store to rank high on Google. This is a beginner SEO checklist, and it has pretty much everything you need to start ranking on Google. And everything that we're going to discuss today and all the slides that you're going to see on your screen is going to be available as a free download just in the video description. But if you have any other questions or recommendations or anything at all, just shoot me an email directly. It's going to be also included in these slides. All right, so what is SEO really? So SEO is essentially search engine optimization, or basically improving how your store ranks on Google, okay? And it consists of three core parts. We have technical SEO, on-page SEO, and off-page SEO. Technical SEO is basically everything that has to do with the backend or the code part of it. How well your Shopify team is coded, how fast it is, how many Shopify apps you have installed additionally on your Shopify store. So basically everything that has to do with the technical part of your Shopify store. On-page SEO is basically content, keywords, and everything that has to do with content. How well the content is structured, how well it's answering questions from the users that they are looking on Google, right? So if I'm looking for a hot sauce on Google, how well your website is structured to answer that search term, okay, in simple way. And off-page SEO is basically external backlinks and authority. Backlinks are basically exactly what is. Those are links that are linking from another website, another blog, another maybe newspaper or PR release from their site to your website, okay? And if their authority and brand is high, it will basically also increase your website's ranking. But anyways, we'll talk about in the coming slides. So just an example, if I go to Google and I Google hot sauce, okay, so there's a reason why hotsauce.com, it's actually very original. You can't really, it's a win-win. It's a crazy good domain name, hotsauce.com. It just doesn't get any better than that. But in general, hot sauce has a lot of brands, and there's like tons of hot sauce brands. And the reason why, for example, these guys are number 2 and these guys are number 3, and there's a reason why these guys right here are on the page number 5. Okay, it's all about how well is their SEO, how well is their branding, and how well is their PR structured. So that's basically all part of SEO, and that's the reason why some are on the page 5 and some are on the page 1. All right, so the technical SEO, the basics and the metrics you want to watch for. So the key elements are fast site speed, how fast is your website. Again, that goes back to how well your Shopify team is structured, how many Shopify apps you're running, how heavy your images are. Then we have mobile responsiveness, meaning how well your website is behaving or looks and works on a mobile device. Okay, because now majority of traffic is coming from the mobile, so that's a huge factor. And then we have how clear and simple navigation is. That kind of goes back to user experience. Okay, so Google can understand by just looking at your website code structure, how well is your navigation structured. And if we're talking about specifically about Shopify, these are the important metrics to watch out for. So you want your website to load under 2.5 seconds or up to 3 seconds. So the Google's recommendation for website speed is 3 seconds or less. And for the speed score in your Shopify dashboard, you want to be somewhere around 50 plus. Again, we're going to talk about this later on in the upcoming slides. Okay, and you might have noticed we have something like FCP and LCP. One is 1.2 seconds, another one 2.2 seconds. It's just really a visual example. But let me just walk you through what exactly these terms mean, okay? So what is FCP and LCP? So FCP is basically first contentful paint, or in other words, how fast the browser shows your website's first piece of content, which could be text, image, or pretty much anything visual on the page. So, when you go on a website, and sometimes you're gonna see that website doesn't instantly load everything together at the same time. You might see, for example, the banner first and the whole website just kind of loads in split a second, but you can still see that delay. Essentially, that's what it is. And then we have LCP, largest kindful paint, which basically means how fast the browser loads your website's biggest visible thing or asset. And usually it's a hero image or like a big text block or a video, right? Because those are kind of the heaviest parts of your website, especially something like hero image. If you want it to be like super HD and crisp, you will try to compress it less, and that obviously will increase its weight, and it will take longer to download for the browser, and that will basically increase your LCP, right? So ideally you want that to be under 2.5 seconds, and you want FCP to be around 2 seconds, okay? Again, this is more technical stuff. It's not something you should be thinking about immediately. Your first focus should be on actually, building out your brand and doing everything from the very beginning properly. So if you choose good Shopify team, then you will avoid a lot of problems like instantly on the spot right there. So one of the good ones is Shopify's Dawn team. It's free. It's extremely lightweight, and that's why it's really fast and doesn't have any problems. It doesn't have any blows and whistles really to it. It's super clean. Architecture is very simple as well. That's why it's loading really fast, and it doesn't face any of these issues really, unless you start adding like a bunch of Shopify apps and you start like custom coding your theme. That's when you introduce these issues, okay? And if you want a team that's more advanced and something that you could customize in a lot of different ways, I can suggest Debutify, okay? It's also based on Shopify's Dawn theme architecture, so definitely check it out. Again, Dawn theme is free, and the Debutify theme is also free to start. There's a free plan, and it has a bunch of widgets, which basically will cut down the cost for your Shopify apps down the road. Okay, anyways, back to Shopify SEO topic. Okay, so on-page SEO, content optimization. Okay, so on-page SEO is basically everything that's happening on the product or the homepage in terms of content. It's what the user sees once it lands on your product page. It's product titles, descriptions, image, alt texts, URLs, meta titles, and all that stuff. We'll also discuss after what is meta title and all that stuff, so you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Then we have, but let me just kind of explain to you fast on the spot what it is. So meta titles and titles on the Google search. For example, let's again go with hot sauce. Let's select these guys right here. Okay, so this is the title. Okay, so this is the title that's coming from their website, either it's Shopify theme or it's Wix theme, or it's maybe WordPress theme. Okay, so that's going to be coming from the title part of it. Okay, and this is the description. All right. And if you want me to show it more visually, so let me just go to the website. I'll just copy paste the link, and then we can use this website. It's called Meta Title. No, I think it was called Meta Title IO, if I'm mistaken. Yeah, Meta Tags IO. Okay. So you're just gonna go here and you're gonna copy paste the link, and then you're gonna click on parse metadata, and there you go. So the title is what we saw here on the Google. And the description should be matching. Yes, exactly. Shop hot sauces. Yes, that's exactly the same thing. Okay. So basically that is the meta title and meta description that is coming from the website, and it's really important part for Google to understand what your website is really about. And again, you can use AI to improve your SEO. You can use ChatGPT, Jasper, or WriteSonic. Okay, so ChatGPT is really general. You can pretty much ask ChatGPT to help you with anything SEO related. Meta titles, meta descriptions, product descriptions. You can just go to ChatGPT and say something. Suggest some meta titles and descriptions for my website selling hot sauce, and apply best SEO practices, for example. And there you go. It's going to give you titles and descriptions, and it's going to tell you to, max 55 to 60 characters, because it doesn't cut off on Google search. Because as you can see here, for these guys, it's cutting off with the 3 dots right there. For meta description, same thing, 150 to 160 characters. That's really the industry standard and recommendation. And also you can add some CTAs like Shop Now. I believe these guys are doing that too. Exactly, Shop, hot sauces. So as you see, ChatGPT gives you pretty much the best industry practices that websites that are ranking on page number 1 are using as well. Then you can use Jasper, but Jasper is essentially kind of like ChatGPT, but really focused on content and content, meta titles, and descriptions. It just, instead of you going on a general chat and asking for that from ChatGPT, Jasper has it, as a feature. So they have like a future meta title or a meta description, but essentially same thing like ChatGPT, right? So just more centralized platform that's focusing on content, right? But you can use ChatGPT, it's gonna do essentially the same thing. Then we have Writesonic. Writesonic is basically if you wanna create programmatic SEO blogs. Programmatic basically means that you are creating a lot of SEO content very fast or automated in a way, right? So if you wanna cover SEO blog post about hot sauce, but on different angles, like what's the best hot sauce, the best way to use your hot sauce, and maybe it can extend to like 10, 20, 30 different topics, right? So if you would be writing that yourself, it would take you hours. So what tools like Writesonic help with, they automate that all for you, okay? They're gonna bulk create content for you. Again, it's a good idea to always review it, but usually it gives you pretty good result as long as you ask the right question, okay? But again, that's more of when you are ready to scale. You don't need to think about it right away. Again, always focus on building quality brand instead of quantity. Once you reach the point where you are ready to scale and you want to start competing with the big players out there, then you can start scaling and increasing, quantity over quality at some point. But again, I'm always for quality instead of just doing bunch of stuff to compete with the competition and try to outcompete them, because Google does understand the quality of the content and how well it's actually answering what the customer is searching for on Google. Okay, next up we got off-page SEO, or building your brand authority. So it consists of link building, content, reviews, social media, PR, brand mentioning from other websites or social media, okay, or like you're getting links from bloggers, niche news, review articles. It can be anything. So for example, if we are offering hot sauce, so I'll search for something like best sauce for, best hot sauce for chicken. You know what? Let's keep it vegan, okay? Best vegan hot sauce. And I'll just go through a couple of search results here. Okay, so we have this one. It seems like a blog website. There you go, yeah. So it's a website that's focusing also on hot sauces, okay? So there are a lot of websites that are doing blogs or articles on specific niches, or maybe it can be on different foods, which includes hot sauces. So you can always reach out to them and say, hey, we're like new brand with this hot sauce, and we are unique because we're doing this and that differently. Would you mind, would you mind posting our article or post on your website in exchange for a backlink, something like that, So usually small websites will be okay with that. Sometimes there's going to be a small fee, but in general, that's how it works under the hood. Or you can use also Fiverr or Upwork for backlinks, but you need to be very careful because Fiverr has a lot of options for cheap backlinks. You can get 1,000 backlinks for $20. If you ever see that, never do that. Those are super spammy backlinks. It's gonna do more harm than good, or in the best case scenario, it's gonna change absolutely nothing, because Google understands when somebody is providing backlinks as a service, and if this person that is selling backlinks to you has multiple blog websites and it's sending links to hundreds of different websites on different topics, Google will know that this is backlink farming, and it's just not going to consider any of that, and it's going to do absolutely nothing for you. And in a lot of cases, if the website that the backlinks are coming from has a low authority or high spam score, it's also going to be impacting your website in the same way. So be careful with that. Always, again, go for quality instead of quantity. It's better to have 2 or 3 super high quality backlinks than have like 100 of super low quality ones. Okay, so why do you want to put so much focus on SEO? Because SEO equals high ROI, or return of your investment for your website. Okay, because SEO brings a lot of free traffic down the road. Okay, it's not going to happen overnight. If you launch your website and you do everything by the book, you're not going to have hundreds or thousands of users coming to your website overnight. Usually it takes 3 to 6 months, and during these 3 to 6 months you need to do continuous work on it. It doesn't stop just like that. You build a website, you put out all these blogs, you do all these backlinks. It's not going to work instantly. You're going to see results at least after 2-3 months, initial results that will give you enough data to see if you are doing things correctly. Okay, next up we've got keywords. So keywords are basically search terms that your customers use to find your brand on Google, and the goal is basically to distribute these keywords into your website pages so you can start showing up on Google search results, right? So for example, like when I went and I looked for hot sauce, okay, so this is search term, that's a keyword I'm using to find hot sauce. So how can you find the right keywords? So we can use Google Keyword Planner, it's free, or you can use Neil Patel's Uber Suggest platform. It offers free plan. You can track your keywords on that platform, okay, and you can monitor the basics of your website for the SEO. So again, check it out, it comes with a free plan, but we'll kind of see how it looks like. First with the Google Keyword Planner. I'm just gonna open my demo account. Looks like I'm on the wrong account. Let me just go back to Google Ads. So again, if you want to know how you access Google Keyword Planner, you will need to create a free account on Google Ads. And once you do that, you will be able to access it from there. Okay, there you go. It's just gonna load up. And then we're gonna just type in Planner, discover new keywords. And here I'm just going to type in again hot sauce, for example, and get results. And now we basically see all the search terms for hot sauce. Okay, so we have hot sauce as the general term. Average monthly searches for this keyword is between 1,000 and 10,000. So if you ask me what is a good number of monthly searches, it should be at least 1,000, or it also can be less than that if you want to try and have less competition and be more niche. But as a general rule standard, you want to be at least 1,000 monthly searches. That's a good number to go for. And then we can see keyword ideas or breakout rooms for this keyword. And again, sriracha, hot sauce, sriracha sauce, whatever, everything's basically related to that keyword. Okay, so it's really good because hot sauce is a very competitive keyword in general, and as you can see that top of the page per click is $2, almost $3. Okay, so if you are just starting out, you would need to bid on the Google something like $3 to be out to outrank the competition. But again, that's more of a paid ads. That's more of a paid ads topic. We're not gonna talk about it. If you want me to cover Google Ads, just let me know in the comments, and I'll as well cover that for you in the next upcoming videos. And the next one we got Neil Patel's Uber Suggest. So essentially, it's kind of a similar thing in a sense, but you can track your ranking for a website. So here you're gonna enter your website, and then you're gonna get your weekly updates for your keywords that you've chosen to track for the website. You can do basic site audit. It's gonna tell you, everything about LCP and FCP, everything that we discussed previously. It's going to give you a very simple breakdown of all those metrics, so you can understand better where you stand. And again, they offer a free plan, so you can start for free, and it's really useful stuff if you want to give it a try. Okay, and let's cover some more live examples for keyword research, because as I mentioned, the hot sauce could be very competitive. So we can try something like, for example, best vegan hot sauce, which could be slightly more niche. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so it might be a little bit, maybe too niche. Maybe vegan hot sauce. Okay, it's still pretty niche. Well, again, we have vegan hot dogs, which, well, it could work out, right? Because when you have hot dogs, you could also use a hot sauce, right? So you can also, when you're working on content, it doesn't specifically need to be always on the same topic like hot sauce, okay? So you can do like content or a blog post about, the best hot sauce to use with vegan hot dogs, for example, okay? But again, we'll talk about how to structure and plan your keywords across the content and coming up slides, guys, okay? And now keyword research tools. I think we touched on it a little bit at the beginning. So again, you want to look for keywords that have over 1,000 monthly searches. That is good. If the competition is too high, you want to try something. You can try synonyms, or basically you can swap hot sauce for spicy chili sauce. And you can also go for long tail keywords, or for example, what that means is best organic hot sauce for tacos, or best organic hot sauce for vegan tacos. Okay, so that would be a good example. Okay, so where can you use and how to use the keywords? Okay, so you can use the keywords naturally inside your titles, descriptions, URLs on your website. So let me just show you visually how it looks like. If I go to Shopify, let me just open my Shopify demo store. I'll just open any of the websites, any of the product pages. For example, this one. Obviously, this is dog bed, but you will get an idea of what I mean. So title right here. So you would be adding your relevant keyword inside a title, and then you will also add relevant keyword inside your description here under the search engine listing. Okay, so meta description is not the same thing as your product description. Usually by default, if you don't change it, it's going to basically copy paste your product description into meta description, but it's not the best idea because, as you can see, it's just huge. And when you search, and if you're going to search for your product on Google, it will cut off after the second sentence or so. And you might want to pack in some more specific keywords rather than just going for the whole description, okay? So you basically delete this whole thing, and then you would create a meta description optimized for the keyword specifically. And for this, you can use ChatGPT or pretty much any AI model and just ask for create meta description for my hot sauce product, and you're gonna give some top features and whatever short description about your product, and AI will give you the meta description that is optimized for SEO essentially. And if you don't know what alt text is, so basically that's a alternative text description for the images, right? So when you look at the image on the website, you just see the visual part of it, but behind it there's also a text that tells Google what this image is exactly, right? So how to do that? You're just gonna go to your Shopify, you're gonna click on the image, and just right here you see the alt text. Okay, so this is the description, dog, car seat cover, blah blah blah. So you briefly will describe what the image is about. Okay, this is also helping your SEO, and it tells Google better story what your website and what your brand is about, and this way it can help to send the right people to your website who are searching for a product or for the solution that you are offering. Okay, meta titles and descriptions, a little bit more about it. So we can do AI plus human touch to do that. So meta titles, as we discussed, is the title that you see when you search for something on Google. That's the first one in the blue. Meta description is basically a short page summary under the title, what exactly, well, more in detail, what the page or the website or the product is about. Okay, and you can ask, again, ChatGPT or any AI tool to create drafts for you, but always make sure that you rewrite for clarity the meta description or the title, because sometimes ChatGPT just gives you way too technical meta title or meta description, which not be the best way for us as people, right? So if we see something that doesn't sound or feel organic, we're just going to kind of skip through it. So always review whatever AI gives you back and make sure that it sounds natural enough for you. So if you would be in the user's place and searching for the same product, would you click on this link? Always as a question in the back of your head. Okay, so for example, shop the best vegan hot sauces, that's the title, / free shipping in Canada. Okay, so you always want to either include CTA and also something like free shipping in Canada, or like it can be also free shipping, or maybe buy one get one, stuff like that. Something that stands out for your brand as an offer for the customer. Okay, next up we're going to cover blogging for SEO. So why it matters, why SEO blogs really matter. So blogs help you to rank for informational searches, and it builds trust with customers in the early journey. Okay, so usually if it's not something like hot sauce, so for the hot sauce, usually you're not going to do too much research, or maybe you will if you're kind of really into hot sauces. You will go for something like what is the best hot sauce. Okay, so this is an informational search because you're asking for information about the product. What is the best, or how much a good hot sauce costs, or where can I get the best hot sauce, or which are the best hot sauce brands in Canada, or whatever the location you are located. So these are informational searches, and usually we use blog posts for that, right? So you're gonna have a blog post, for example, talking about the best 10 hot sauces in 2025, or the best 10 hot sauces for vegan hot dogs. You know what I mean? So if your blog post is good enough, Google will rank that higher because it's answering this search term, and it is also answering customers' question, right? So if you have a good quality blog post, it will help you so much in SEO in general. That definitely don't sleep on SEO blogs. They're super important. And for you to better understand customer journey, how it works, so first they will be searching for something like best vegan hot sauces. Okay, then the next stage should be comparing options, hot ones versus Tabasco vegan edition, or anything else really. And finally, I'm gonna go for buy, like order vegan hot sauce online, or shop vegan hot sauce, stuff like that. Okay, so these are the final stages of customer journey when I'm ready to convert, but it's always happening in 3 stages, right? So informational, comparing other options with your product or brand, and then finally converting and going for the order or for the buy. Okay, and how can you find blog ideas for your website? So you can use something as simple as Google. So all you do is, again, type hot sauce, and then go all the way here. And here you're gonna see what people are most frequently searching for this term. So hot sauce best, top 10 hot sauces in the world, hot sauce recipe, shop hot sauce, stuff like that. So these are your blog ideas, right? So people are searching for this already. So just create blog posts about these on these search terms, and if the content is good enough and you are consistent, you will start ranking for these keywords on Google as well. So for example, you can also go to ChatGPT and ask for suggestions on the blog post. So here you can see example, you can have beginner friendly, 10 ways to add hot sauces to every meal, educational blog post, and then fun and interactive, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of ways you can do that. There's a lot of SEO blog parts that you need to wrap when you're doing SEO blogging in general, but this is a good place to start. And again, if you're not sure, you can always go to ChatGPT and ask, like, suggest some topics for SEO blog post on hot sauces for a new brand to rank for informational keywords on Google. Okay, just as simple as that. And just like that, it's going to give you pretty much ready to go, maybe with minor adjustments, the topics for your SEO blogs. You know, what is hot sauce made of, how to choose the right hot sauce for your taste, beginner's guide, best hot sauce for people who don't like too much heat, and stuff like that. So these are good ideas. With a bit of tweaking, you're pretty much ready to go on your first SEO blog post. Okay, and the best way to structure blogs for SEO, basically use keyword clustering, or in a sense that you have one main topic and then you have 3 to 5 supporting subtopics in your blog post. Okay, then you have the heading strategy. So you always have only one H1 or only one heading number 1. That is the main one that will show up on the Google search. So don't ever put 2 H1s or 3 H1s on the website or on your blog post because it's going to confuse Google and it's just not going to rank your content at all on the website because it's confusing and it's not a good user experience. So H1 is basically your title, okay, what the SEO blog post or page is about. H2 is more of a benefits, or like a secondary headline, benefits of vegan ingredients, how to pair hot sauce with meals, and top 5 vegan hot sauce brands. Okay, so it's structured basically. H1 is the most important one and only has to be one of them. H2 is usually H2s are usually section headings. You know, when you look at the blog post, you have like section 1, benefits of vegan ingredients, section 2, how to pair hot sauce with meals, and section 3, which also is going to be H2, top 5 vegan hot sauce brands. And then you basically talk about that subtopic. Okay, so one main topic, 3 to 5 supporting topics, and make sure that you are structuring your headings correctly. And again, here you have a very useful infographic in terms of how it should be structured. It's going to be included again in the description and the video, so you can just download it, take a look at it, and you can start building your first SEO blog post. Or you're not sure, just ask ChatGPT or any AI how to structure your blog post for how to structure a blog post technically and how to structure a blog post for content. Okay, and it's going to give you pretty much all the same steps, and just follow them and make sure that the content is unique and you are good to go on that. Okay, so we're back to talking about link building. It's an easy way in a sense if you do it correctly. Okay, so you can focus on partnerships with bloggers, YouTubers, niche news websites. So for example, if I'm selling hot sauce, I'm gonna go on Google and I'm gonna do something like hot sauce blogs, and you know there's a whole blog dedicated to hot sauce daily. Okay, so I'm gonna look for similar blogs like these, and I'm gonna reach out to them and I'm gonna tell them, hey, we're a new brand and we wanna host or post an article on your website. Would you be open to that? And then usually they're gonna say yes, or I can say, you know what, yeah, it's gonna cost you like, I don't know, $100, and that's okay. Sometimes it can be a paid transaction, but you always can check for this website's ranking or authority. I believe it was called SEO Small Tools. Yes. So SEO Small Tools website authority. They got a domain authority checker. So you're just gonna copy paste the link in here. I'm a human and check authority. Okay, and this is gonna basically give you domain authority and page authority for this website specifically. So 34, it's really good. So in general, anything above 30 is good. It means that they are providing good quality content. They've been doing it for a while, because when you're just gonna start off, your domain authority will be on a 0. And if you do everything organically and properly to get to domain authority 34, it's gonna take you at least a year or year and a half. Okay, but never go for shortcuts. Never buy backlinks or services to increase your domain authority within the next few days. It's a spammy way of doing it. It might work, but one day it might just crash, and you're gonna go from 30 something to 0 in a split of a second, and Google might even flag your website as a spam website. Okay, so this is really good. So this is how you can check blog websites and make sure that you are collaborating with quality blog websites. Okay, and I'll also include this in the link just right here as a link right here for you to use it. All right, so I added the link for you here. Also in the slide that's going to be available as a free download just in the video description. So just download it and the link will be attached right here. Okay, it's a free tool. You don't need to pay for it, so you can check any website and see, even for your website, just copy paste and see where do you stand in terms of domain authority and page authority. Okay, some outreach tips. So always offer a value. Don't reach out just to blog or website and say like, hey, can you guys post an article or a blog post about a product or a website? It's not going to work out. Always explain why. Tell them what pain points you're solving for the end consumer. Explain them why your brand or product is better or what's unique about it. Give them a little story, always have a good story. Good story sells, and make sure that the product is good and unique. And then 99% of the time, these bloggers and small websites will agree to post your article on their website for exchange for a backlink. And again, once your website grows big enough and you are starting to rank on a website and your domain authority is high, you can offer the same services, or even people are going to start reaching out to you saying, hey, like, can we exchange backlinks? I'm going to post something on my website and you're going to post something on your website. Okay, so this is called backlink exchange, very common. So look out for it. You might get it one day. So if you ever receive an email, somebody saying, hey, can we do a backlink exchange? You can do that. Just make sure to use, again, tools like small SEO tools or any other SEO tools to double check the website spam and domain authority. So this way, making sure that you're working with a quality website or a blog website. Okay, next up, we've got foundational links to set up. Okay, so make sure you have social media profile set up like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, and whatever is that needed for your niche. And then make sure to set up Google My Business. Okay, it's for free. Even if you're online, you can still do it, because if somebody's looking for your product or service in your area, you will rank much higher. You will rank way higher if you have Google My Business set up locally. Okay, or maybe if you have a online presence and maybe you have a small physical store, then even more important, if you have a small physical store alongside with an online store, always make sure that you have Google My Business set up. It's free. It takes a couple of minutes to set it up. And yeah, it's also a really important part of the SEO game in general. Okay, so for Shopify Store Speed Report, what to watch out for? Okay, so you wanna watch out for FCP, for LCP, and speed score in general. I think we discussed this in the first initial slides, so you're already familiar with what FCP and LCP is, and make sure that your speed score is 50 plus. So if you want to know how it looks like exactly, you just go to your Shopify. Let me go back to my demo store right here, and once you're there, just look at this dashboard right here. Okay, so the speed is 100%. Loading time is 169, and interactivity is 64 milliseconds. Okay, so Shopify kind of put the FCP and LCP into one thing, and they're calling it interactivity. So again, Shopify, that's like super easy to understand. It's gonna tell you if it's good or bad, just as simple as that. Okay, so just watch out for these metrics once you actually start building a store, because when the website is blank and you haven't done much on your theme, it will always be 100% and perfectly, all the metrics will be perfectly perfect, but it's not going to be the case once you start building your website. Again, it's not really the staple, even if it's like, some of them are not good, it doesn't mean that your website will not rank on the website. SEO has all these pillars that we discussed about: technical, on page, and off-page SEO. So all of them come together to determine how well is your website structured for SEO. Okay, some suggestions: remove unused Shopify apps, because when you install Shopify apps, they're going to inject their own code on top of your team's code, and usually that will increase or add additional delay for the load time. So review. Sometimes we install apps and we forget about them, so see if there are any apps that you don't really need. Compress large images. You can use something like Tiny Image SEO on the Shopify's App Store. I believe it's free. It gives you a limit of certain images you can compress for free, and always use lightweight video embeds. Okay, yeah, that's about it for that. Okay, so how can you check how fast is your website? Okay, so either you can use the Shopify Store Speed Report, the one right here. Okay, it's very simple, and very visual to understand, really the basics of it. But if you need something more complex, you can use Google Page Speed Insight. So the link is included here. So if we go here, we can enter like any website. For example, let's go with Debutify.com. I just need the link and we'll copy paste here. I'm currently on desktop, so I'm interested in desktop. So again, you're going to see a lot of similar stuff we talked about. You're going to see the LCP and FCP. Okay, there's some more additional metrics like CLS. CLS is basically, how much time or how many seconds or milliseconds your website takes to shift the content, meaning that if your images are not preset in terms of height or width, okay, so if you don't set, for example, that your image is 1000 by 1000 pixels, it will take for browser to determine that this image is 1000 by 1000. So that will create CLS or shift, okay, because it needs to calculate how big is the image, and then it needs to put it in that place, in that dimension. So always when working with images in your Shopify, make sure that you are presetting the size and the height of your image. Again, the good news is you don't need to do it manually these days anymore. Most of the teams like Done or Debutify will do it automatically for you. It's going to calculate the size of the image, and it's going to put that in the code, and then it's going to tell to browser the exact dimension of the image. So when it loads, the browser knows exactly the dimensions, and it will avoid the CLS for you. Again, and here you see the metrics. The performance is basically everything technical SEO. Accessibility, it's essentially how easy it is for users to navigate your website. Or also the buttons. Do buttons have names attached to them behind the scenes, right? So if I click on the button and I click inspect, for example, okay, we should have a label for each. I can't really find it here, but if I search for it, it's basically called ARIA label right here, if you can see it. It's basically description of the button, right, to tell Google what this button is, right? So in this case, it would be start free trial button, or let me find another button. Okay, try for $1 for 30 days button. So those are ARIA labels. Usually all the teams do the stuff automatically for you, but that accounts for your accessibility. Okay, and then also the color contrast that you're using on your website. If there's not enough contrast, it's going to be flagged as an accessibility issue. So make sure that you are using colors that have contrast enough between each other. For example, we have here a purple button and a white text, so it's clear enough to see even for somebody who has maybe some vision or eye issues. Okay, even for them, they will be able to clearly see the button and the text inside the button. Okay, so again, that goes into your accessibility. Best practices, meaning you have the SSL certificate, that your website doesn't have any security issues. It's not something you should worry about if you're using Shopify, WordPress, or Wix. They cover all of that for you. Okay, it's only unless you're building websites from scratch, you're hosting it on Hostinger or doing the whole hosting yourself. I don't suggest that if you're a beginner. Just go with Shopify because they cover everything for you from A to Z, so you don't need to think about it really. Okay, next up, quality content tips. So always choose or create eye-catching product images. Make sure that they display your product in the best way possible. High resolution, making sure that all the product details are visible in the image. Make sure that you're using strong, short headline, which is usually your product description or your product in a very short way. Like for example here, the last dab, hot sauce, you know what I mean? So don't create a product title that is extremely long unless it's absolutely necessary, or if you're selling technical accessories where you need to mention that it's like for iPhone, for Android, for small screen, big screen, or anything that has to do with technical aspects. Like for example, we'll go with something like buy laptop. Okay, you see, so technical products will have longer product descriptions, which is okay, and it's absolutely recommended because you need to tell users, you need to answer users a search term, So Lenovo ThinkPad 12 to 14, that's a screen size, I think, 1 terabyte SSD, 32 gigs of RAM, and Intel processor. Okay, so those are important parts to add into your title if you're selling technical products or pretty much anything that has that requires some sort of specifications or requirements to be added to the product title. That is totally okay. But if you're selling something like t-shirt or whatever, don't add that that it's linen, large size, and it's vegan and it's made in Italy or whatever. It's not necessary. All that you're going to be including on the product page in the description. Okay, then make sure to include shop now button, use high resolution images, add ingredient sizing and shipping, whatever is relevant to your product, and add some FAQs or user reviews as well. That's super important. Again, FAQs are also important for SEO because it answers a lot of search terms, a lot of search queries. It helps Google send the right user to your product page or to your website if you're answering users search term. Okay, next up, super important, set up Google Search Console, because without it you basically won't be ranking on Google because Google won't know that your website exists. I believe it does index your website at some point, but much longer than it should. So just head over to Google Search Console. In short, what is Google Search Console? It's basically you're submitting your website to Google search. Okay, you're giving all the information about your website to Google, so it can start ranking your website on the Google. Setup is really easy. It's for free, and the way you can get your sitemap, just go to your Shopify, for example. Okay, so the good news, sitemap is automatically created by Shopify for you. You don't need to think about it. So you're gonna go to Shopify, to your store, and then you're gonna preview your website, and then you're gonna just /sitemap. Okay, I believe I made a typo. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I made a typo. So sometimes you can do either sitemap, but if the sitemap doesn't work for you, I think Shopify works with XML. So it's gonna be /sitemap.xml. Okay, so this is your sitemap essentially. It's basically think of it as a map of your entire website for Google or for crawlers, for bots to understand the context of your website and how many pages there is, what is it about, and stuff like that. Okay, so this is what you're going to be submitting to Google Search Console. So let's go back here. So when you go to the web Search Console, it's going to look something like this, and then you're gonna go to sitemaps, and all you're gonna do, you're just gonna take this link right here, you're gonna copy paste it right here, and then you're gonna click submit, and your website is officially now submitted to Google. So it might take maybe a couple of days or so to reflect on actual Google search, but don't worry, as long as you have the success message and it was submitted, you're good to go. Just give it some time and your Google will be now live on Google search. And once you do that, you're going to start getting data about the impressions, about what people are actually searching. So if you're going to be able to see if your website is coming up on hot sauce, for example, search terms, or it's going to tell you exactly the search terms that are people searching for and for which ones they are clicking on your website, okay? And it's gonna give you like stuff like click-through rates, impressions, how many times your website or specific page of your website has been seen by an actual person, okay? So that's really useful. But again, when you're setting up your website as brand new, give it a couple of days, maybe a week or two, and you're gonna start seeing initial data coming in, okay? So don't worry if you don't see it immediately after you set up the Google Search Console, because it takes time. So give it a week or two, and you should be able to start seeing the data coming in. Okay, and absolutely don't panic if you don't see the results immediately. As I said, it takes a lot of time. SEO is a long-term game. Okay, you have to be very consistent, make sure that you're providing good quality, making with quality content. If you're working with backlinks, again, make sure it's quality. It's better to have one backlink that's coming from a good website rather than paying for 50, 100 backlinks from Fiverr or whatever for $10, but they're absolutely spammy and they're gonna do absolutely nothing. And after, it's a huge pain to remove it because you can't really do it. You need to reach out either to the freelancer or to the website owner and ask them to remove the backlink for you. Okay, so imagine if you're like 100 spammy backlinks, that's a lot of trouble. So always focus on quality ones, okay? And once you start working SEO, you will start seeing initial results within the 3 to 6 months. I know it sounds a lot, but that's just how it works. But don't worry about it. The end result is absolutely amazing. Once you start seeing that traffic coming in, once you start seeing your sales coming in, it's free traffic. Okay, people are noticing your website. So once that starts happening, it's gonna be mind changing. You're gonna be mind blown to see that your efforts are paying off. Okay, so give it a time. Consistency is the key with SEO. Always remember that. Okay, that's it. You're officially SEO ready. Okay, I hope this helped you guys. I know it was a lot of content to digest. Maybe some things were unclear, but that's totally fine. That's why I'm including this guide as a free download in the video description. Again, just head over to the description and download this guide for free. And you will have my email as well in these slides. Just send me an email for any questions you have, recommendations, or any other topics you have, or maybe send me your website. I'll take a look at it. I'll review your website and I'll give you my personal recommendations for SEO. Hope you guys enjoy the content, and subscribe and like if you want to see more content like this.